Hey, joining us now on the MARR Army Rock Show. Very excited to have Michael Del Pizzo with us. He is the vocalist of Sunflower Dead. They're out of Long Beach, California. Their song, Turn Away, has gotten our attention here on the MARR Army Rock Show. It's off their new record, Coma. Michael, welcome to the show.
What's up, my friend?
Hey, it's been a long time since I saw you, man. I think Shiley Acres in West Virginia might have been the last time I saw you perform.
Wow.
Yeah, so...
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a little bit. So, hey, the song Turn Away, it's a real powerful tune, so let's get right into it. Tell me a little bit about the message behind that tune.
I mean, Turn Away is simply put, it's an anti-suicide themed song, and it wasn't something that, we thought about doing. It just kind of happened, and then when I read the lyrics, that kind of poured out of me. I was like, wow, this is one of those, this is anti-suicide. This is a don't give up. There's always something else to keep, striving for. So it's a super personal and deep for me, and it seems like people are relating to it.
Now, you kind of alluded to this a little bit. Did I read that the song almost kind of didn't make it on the record? Is that right?
Yeah, and like 4 times, literally. like the day it was written, I was 100% against it because it was handed to me at the very last day we could submit demos to our producer Dave Fortman for pre-production, and I just finished writing 20 songs worth of vocals and recorded them, and I was really burnt out. And then Jabu, my guitarist, handed me Turn Away, just the music. He did it all himself one night. He's like, I wrote all the music, bass, drums, everything. He handed me the demo, and I was like, dude, I hate you, bro. I was like, I'm so exhausted. And then I listened to the song, and I was like, dude, I love you, bro. I think this is the best thing we've ever done. And so, and then we recorded the record, and none of us really we were all like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, we recorded the song, we're like, yeah, it's okay. But there was something wrong with it, so we kind of scrapped it. And then right the day before the album went to get mastered, I called Fortman. I said, hey, I got an idea for Turn Away. Why don't you switch this and this in the verses, see what happens? And he did, and we got it back, and we were like, wow, this is something great now. And then we decided to bury it at the end of the record and let it last because it was 5 minutes and 32 seconds. So we figured nobody would even get to it. And it's the one song that everyone got to for some reason that bought the record. And when our people heard it that worked with us, they're like, we got to put this out as a single. So, we did an edit, and boom, here it is. It's a single. We tried to bury it. We tried to kill it. We tried to scrap it. It just, whatever we did, this song was like, I'm coming, and that's the way it is. So, God bless it. It's all good.
So, hey, tell us a little bit more about working with David Fortman, what that was like. He's a real powerhouse producer. Tell us what he brought to the record.
Man, what doesn't Dave bring? First of all, Dave is a complete lunatic of a human being. He's the funniest dude ever. But when it comes to music, he switches into, genius mode, and he gets real serious and real focused with a beer in his hands, and he just literally just says stuff to you that, it's mind-blowing how he hears it and how he hears harmony and melody and hears all the little things going on in the songs and the frequencies. He'll literally tell you, there's this frequency, there's that frequency going on, we got this, I need this from you. And I'm like, wow, it's an incredible experience and super fun because he's not a slave driver of a producer. He's more of he's a psychologist where he figures out each member of the band and how they need to be spoken to, and then he talks to everyone and deals with everyone differently as a recording. It's really cool.
Now, we're certainly not going to look just past Turn Away at a great record that you released in Coma, so tell me about another tune that's real successful for you guys so far called Victim. Let's talk about that tune.
Oh, yeah, that was the first single on the album. It was one of the first songs we wrote for the record. It was kind of the first foray lyrically into me delving into being extremely personal and pulling away the metaphor lyrically. On the first 2 records of ours, I came from a point of view where I thought I was very emotional, but I was covering it in a lot of metaphor. And on this record, we just stripped it away, and I just said things more straightforward. And Victim was that first foray in it, and I think it did very well for us with the resources we had. It got to 36 on Billboard and Media Base, and we were super happy with it, and got us back into radio and got us back out on the road and put us in the position to be able to release Turn Away on the scale that we're doing it.
Now, for folks that maybe haven't seen you in a little while, and I haven't seen you in a while, you kind of update us a little bit on the lineup and who's currently the lineup of the band and how you all found each other.
Well, after we finished the touring cycle of It's Time to Get Weird, our second album, we came home with no rhythm section. Both our drummer and our bassist both quit the band, both for adult decisions, so it's all good. And it was just kind of me, Jabu, my lead guitarist, and Jamie, my rhythm guitarist. And that's what we had. And we were like, what are we going to do? And I was like, well, I think we should probably just write a record and lose the makeup and move forward. And that's exactly what we did. And once we recorded the record, we actually used studio musicians. We used Cordell Crockett from Ugly Kid Joe played bass on the record, courtesy of Dave Fortman. And our friend Chris Hamilton, who was in the Van Downset, and Blood Simple, he played drums on the record. And when the record was done, we just sent it out to a couple people, like Christian Oldie Walbers from Fear Factory. He was the original bassist from Fear Factory, and he's a good friend of ours. And he produced our first record, and he's like, wow, I really love where you guys are going. I want to be in the band. So boom, we had a bass player. And then drummer-wise, while we were tracking the record, a friend of Dave Fortman came to the studio to hang out, and he was like, what's up with this band? They need a drummer? And we were like, yeah, we need a drummer. So we jammed with them. We're like, boom, we got Brett Weir. He toured with Red Sun Rising and a couple other bands, and we're like, wow, you're the guy. And boom, we had a band without even really auditioning anyone or doing anything.
Man, you made it sound so simple, but I know it can be such a challenge sometimes, but it really worked for you, right?
I'll tell you what, nothing, I'll never speak for any other band, but nothing in Sunflower Dead is simple. Everything is like, it's literally like we'll get 10 great things that happen, and then boom, we'll get an 11th thing that's terrible, but it's so devastating, it cancels out all the 10 great things that happen, and then we just start over again. So it's literally like nothing has been easy, but we keep fighting, keep moving forward, and, just to give ourselves a fighting shot.
Now, you guys are going out on a very cool tour in August, so I'm going to let you tell folks a little bit about the tour you got coming up.
Yeah, we're going out with Scott Stapp from Creed. He just released his solo record, or is releasing it. He just released some songs. So it's going to be Scott Stapp, the band Messer, and then us, tour in the U.S. for 21 shows. And then in between that, there's some off dates, and us and Messer are going to fill those dates with our own shows together. And then Sunflower Dead after that is going to go out on another tour in the fall. We're looking for that now. So we're going to be out on the road in the U.S. a lot over the next 6 months.
So I know in the past, going back a record, you've worked with Jonathan Davis before on It's Time to Get Weird. I'm just curious how you got hooked up with getting Jonathan Davis on your record.
Well, my one guitarist, Jamie Tessera, he actually grew up with the guys in Korn. So he's been friends with those guys since before there even was a Korn. He actually took guitar lessons from Monkey back in the day when he was in LAPD. So it was not something we really ever thought we would do, but when we had recorded this Time to Get Weird record, we were sitting down with some record labels, and one record label was like, well, why don't you ask Jonathan to sing on one of your songs? And we were like, well, why would we do that? and they're like, because it might get you some exposure, and you might make the song cooler. So we just kind of threw the dart at the dartboard and said, oh, hey, John, you want to sing on this song? It's Time to Get Weird. And he was like, 100% I'm in. So we went down to his studio. He was super cool. He sang on it. I told him exactly what I wanted, and he knocked it out. And there you go. That was our first top 40 single.
So let's talk about the evolution of the band since It's Time to Get Weird. Do you feel there's been any kind of style adjustments to the band with the lineup the way it is now? Has the style changed at all?
I think it's changed tremendously. Obviously, on the outside, the makeup is gone. We no longer look like Dead Zombies or Kiss Part 2. It's lyrically it's changed because it's much more straightforward and honest and emotionally weighted. And I think musically, we've started becoming a much more musical band, where we're starting to show that we actually have something musical to offer. Because I don't think people were hearing that before. I think people were just seeing us, seeing the clowns, but they weren't hearing the music, like what we had to offer. So it was kind of like something we wanted to do and really show, we have more to offer than just entertaining people, which is wonderful, but we have more to offer. So I do think it's a different band. It's kind of why it's taken us so long to restart it, because it's like we basically started over, even though we didn't. And I believe we're in a really good spot now.
Now, I'm broadcasting out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Did I see that you're a Philadelphia boy growing up? Is that correct?
That is right. Me and Jabu are from the Philadelphia area, no doubt.
So I'm just curious. Tell me a little bit about your musical upbringing. You know, we love the Philadelphia music scene. What was your musical upbringing and your experience musically in Philadelphia?
You know, I was a teenager. I was probably 20 when I moved to California to do music. So my being a part of the Philadelphia music scene was very quick. You know, I was in bands when I was in college and stuff in high school, but I wasn't ingrained in the Philadelphia music scene. In fact, what I remember of it back then, it was very cover band-esque and a sports town. So it wasn't, you know, really where we wanted to be. Now I believe it's a little bit different, but you know, I really couldn't give you a lot of information on that. But as far as my musical background, I mean, you know, I grew up being, you know, idolizing everyone from Guns N' Roses to Pantera to Korn to Twisted Sister to Journey, you name it. So.
Well, hey man, I've had a great time talking with you. This is Michael DePizzo of Sunflower Dead. Their single Turn Away is out right now. It's our number 6 tune on the Rock Show this week. And make sure you pick up the whole record, Coma. It's well worth picking up. And man, Michael, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it very much.